front. And so what has to happen, and this can happen peacefully, what has to happen is we have to restore federalism. That will not happen by electing good people to Washington, D.C. I agree with you on that point, and I've never said just go vote and it'll solve everything. I've never said just elect good people and it'll solve everything. I absolutely advocate for what some people consider to be radical steps, which are, they're not radical. They were actually put into the Constitution by the Founding Fathers of the United States. In the United States Constitution in Article 5, Colonel George Mason saw exactly this moment, and what you've described, Jay. He saw this moment, and he stood up on September 15th in 1787 at the Constitutional Convention, and he said, if the federal government ever gets to that point, we have to have a way to box them in from outside Washington, D.C. The states have to be able to do it. We have to be able to amend the Constitution to overrule the actions of the federal government. That's the peaceable way of doing it. That's the constitutional republic way of doing it. And it is possible, and we are on our way to doing that. 19 states have called for a convention. We need 34 to call for it, so we got 15 more states to go. Then we have to have the convention, propose amendments, and then 50 states have to debate that in their own state legislatures, and 38 have to say yes. I believe we can do that because it's not just we conservatives that are now concerned about Washington, D.C. telling us what to do with our lives. Liberals are concerned about that as well. And so there will be a self-interest motivation to restore federalism, to say to the federal government, get out of our business. The only role you have is protecting our borders, is national defense, is making sure that commerce and free enterprise is allowed to cross state lines, and there's no prohibition from states stopping goods and services from competing. That was the purpose of the Commerce Clause, and it's been totally distorted to allow the federal government to micromanage every transaction in America. So restoring the original intent of the Constitution and the original jurisdiction of the federal government is the peaceable way to save this thing. Now, if we don't do that, I think you're right. I think if we don't use the constitutional means at our fingertips, we're headed to civil war. I don't want that, and I want that to, people that want that or call for that, they don't understand how ugly that is and how bad that will be.
I'm here live in Philadelphia at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. When you hear the phrase lives, fortunes, and sacred honor, these are the folks we should think of, those who anonymously gave their lives. Well, today you have a chance to volunteer. You need to volunteer for conventionofstates.com, the movement that's going to save the country. These folks were willing to step up and give everything. We need you to give just a little bit. Go to conventionofstates.com and volunteer today.